Hello, I'm Colin Hoffman, a social science communicator. Today on The Sociologist, we're going to be doing a reaction and breakdown of two particular characters from the film Jojo Rabbit. This was a comedy, dark comedy film that took place in 1945 Germany, and we'll be analyzing two gay men in the story under Nazi rule, their actions, and a couple of key details I haven't seen a lot of people speak about yet. As we go along, this is a standalone dissection into two particular gay male characters under Nazi rule, so you do not need to have seen the film, although I highly recommend seeing the film Jojo Rabbit. So the two characters that we are scoping in on today are Captain Klenzendorf, portrayed by Sam Rockwell, and Sub-Officer Sergeant Freddie Finkel, portrayed by Alfie Allen. These were two messaged to be gay men in 1945 Germany under Nazi regime. We'll be going through their scenes together, the significance of some of them, patterns that we see throughout this tale of their relationship and their dynamic, as well as a few key details that come out in the end.
Hi Hitler, guys. Hi Hitler! Jungvolk, welcome to the Hitler Jugend Training Weekend, in which we will make men and women of you all. My name is Captain Klenzendorf. You may call me Captain K. Captain K! Woo!
So in this first scene, we are introduced to Captain K as leading a Jungvolk, young Nazi camp, which is a summer camp used for propaganda and indoctrination to the Nazi rule.
And this is Sub-Officer Finkel. This is Fräulein Rahm.
So in the first scene that we are introduced to Captain K, we see him with Freddie Finkel. We notice this dyad, this pairing throughout the film. There are not many scenes of one being on screen without the other. This is important in a relationship aspect because they are a pairing. They are partners to one another, even though being homosexual under the Nazi Party was punishable by death at the time. So prior to the Nazi regime, from the late 1700s to 1933, homosexuality had been technically outlawed in Germany. However, the gay community still was thriving, flourishing. They had communities, they had meeting places. They were able to be out in the world. They were able to operate normally, social lives without reciprocity from the government. So these two gentlemen in this very precarious situation, they had been born and lived as adults prior to 1933 when the Nazi regime abjectly crossed the offenses for homosexuality to very mortal punishments. And being a homosexual man in 1930s Germany, how many choices do you have? These two gentlemen had already been part of the Nazi army, so they chose to wear that clothing. This could be seen as a way of keeping themselves safe, because what else are you going to do? Where are you going to go? You will not get very far.
So, a little about me. Who am I and why am I here talking to a bunch of little titty grabbers instead of leading my men into battle towards glorious death? Great question. I've asked it myself every day since Operation Screw Up, where I lost a perfectly good eye in a totally preventable enemy attack. And according to my superiors, you need two eyes to be a meaningful part of the war effort.
So here we are introduced to some of the history of Captain K. He was likely a veteran of World War I, injured in what he called a totally preventable enemy attack. He is an abject war hero. This is someone whose nationalist pride of being a German, of serving his country, runs very deeply to him. He has a collection of medals. He has war scars. He has served his nation. He has a lot of German pride and now is living under a different administration which would like to see him dead for his identity.
Over the next 2 days, you little critters will get to experience some of the things that the mighty German army goes through every day. And even though it would appear our country's on the back foot and there really isn't much hope in us winning this war, apparently we're doing just fine.
So again, Captain K seems to be able to get away with some of these snide comments about the impending end of the war, particularly in the later stages of 1944, 1945 Germany, when defeat seemed pretty inevitable from all sides of the Allies in World War II in the European arena. Part of this may be attributed to his personality, his sass. Another part of this, of course, may be because he is in charge of a youth summer camp. These are children. They're not going to be the most adept at reading sarcasm, satire, sassiness, talkback, especially towards something as adult as the Nazi regime and topics such as the impending end of the war.
Anyway. Finkel, I meant we'd need dogs for when the city is attacked, not actual German shepherds.
So Freddie Finkel misunderstood German shepherds and went and gathered some rural mountain shepherders, farmers, rather than German shepherds, the canines, in preparation of the assault on Berlin.
Get them out of here. Get them out of here! Now! 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 I'm sorry for yelling at you.
That's so stupid.
No, it's a silly name for a dog. I should have been more clear. You're doing a great job.
Danke.
Hiya, kid.
So there is a very intimate communication wherein Captain K loses his temper and as an officer, as a captain, yells at his subordinate for misconstruing the commands in wartime. Freddie Finkel very clearly immediately felt embarrassed and ashamed of his miscommunication of the situation. However, we also see Captain K in an aside immediately apologize. That silent moment between the two men, that pregnant pause where they are appraising and appreciating, is one of the most intimate moments in the film without any words, without any physical touch being expressed, because again, particularly in the context of Nazi Germany, how would one be able to express an apology, a moment of intimacy, trying to make someone feel better, comforting them? As all great intimate moments, interrupted by a child. In this next scene, we see the titular character Jojo approaching Captain K and Freddie Finkel at a swimming pool, potentially in a gym in Berlin, to ask their advice, to seek their counsel on being able to coexist with Jews. At this point in the film, Jojo has found a Jew residing in his home, taking refuge under purview of his mother. As a young and devout Nazi himself, Jojo is conflicted with how to approach the situation and asks Captain K and Freddie Finkel on their thoughts.
Hi, Captain K.
Hey, citizen head hand grenade himself. How's the leg, kid?
It's pretty much healed. It only 80% hurts now. Can I ask you a question about Jews?
Oh, God. Why?
Captain K shrugs away, looking down, and says, "Oh God, why?" Almost more importantly, we see Freddie Finkel behind him, rolling his eyes, his entire head and neck to the heavens, so done with this topic. Can you imagine the fatigue of Nazi officers in 1945 Germany who for years have been hearing, sharing, disseminating, hunting the threat of the Jewish people?
Oh, God. Why?
Even if the Jew hypnotized someone to make them hide the Jew in the first place.
I'd be amazed if that could happen.
So Jojo is, at this point in the film, still operating under the delusions that Jews have supernatural abilities. Captain K gives a very measured response, even though he is dealing with a 10-year-old, I believe Jojo is, that he would be amazed if such a thing were possible. Captain K shares with Jojo a design for a uniform that he has designed and prepared for the final assault on Berlin, which he believes to be imminent at this point.
As part of our preparations for the invasion, I'm redesigning my uniform. Note the feathers for aerodynamics, the sparkly color to dazzle the enemy, the boots purely decorative, and this a Gatling gun mounted with a radio which emits annoying music to dishearten the enemy.
Captain K realizes he cannot live very long as a gay German in 1945 Germany. Captain K has designed this uniform to be outlandish, flamboyant, colorful, with feathers, sparkles. Even the music box emitting annoying music may be a way to lash out at the Nazi regime, which had outlawed many forms of music and artistry under its rule. So at this point in the film, we know that Captain K realizes he has a dilemma of identity, of being a Nazi and being a gay man. He recognizes that in designing this uniform with all of the color, all of the sparkle, all of the music with it, during the invasion of Berlin, he will only be able to live one day as himself. Whether being put to death for being a homosexual man under the Nazi Party, by his fellow officers, by the German nationals that he had served and become a war hero for, or by the invading Allies that are going to be taking Berlin, he knew he was only going to be able to live himself this one day in this one uniform. During the invasion of Berlin, we do see a moment with Jojo going through the warfare, going through the carnage, going through the rubble of his home city. And he gets to come across Captain K and Freddie Finkel in their uniforms, living as their true selves for the first time. So we see the feathers for aerodynamics. We see the bold, brave cape. We see Freddie Finkel holding the music box. And there's a detail in this uniform that was not in his original design, but then many online had pointed out as a key historical detail. And this was the inclusion of a pink triangle along with his military medals. The pink triangle was a symbol of homosexuality, homosexual men in Nazi Germany, along with yellow triangles, yellow stars, black triangles, all having different symbols classifying the victims of the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. Captain K recognized he was not welcome. In this moment, he is both a German and a gay man. I would also like to note Freddie motherfucking Finkel's uniform, who not only has pink triangle military pins, pink triangles on his helmet. Look at Freddie Finkel's cape. Freddie is adorned in a cape of pink triangles. In this moment, that is probably the first time he has been able to live out loud as himself. And he knew it was going to be the last time. The next scene is the final scene with Captain K in the film, wherein Jojo comes across an Allied prisoner internment where they have gathered up German soldiers. In this moment, Jojo runs into Captain K again, disarmed, having been beaten, and is now captured and imprisoned by the Allies.
Hey, kid. Look at all this commotion, huh?
Something really interesting about Captain K's personality is how he tries to recognize the childhood of Jojo. He still is speaking to him in a way that this will probably be okay. You'll be safe. You'll be taken care of. Even when he was a steward of the children with the young folk with the summer camp, he was in charge of the safety and training and education of children. He seems to take this role fairly seriously.
What's happening?
It's steady, my friend. We come to the end.
I'm sorry about Rosie. She was a good person. An actual good person.
So here Captain K is referencing Rosie, Jojo's mother, who up till this point in the film had been harboring a Jewish fugitive in their home without Jojo's knowledge. It was heavily implied relatively confirmed that Captain K knew what Rosie had been doing with a Jewish underground railroad to help protect and excise Jews from Nazi Germany. Captain K calls her an actual good person.
Now go home, look after that sister of yours. Okay?
Get away. Get away, Jew. Hey!
You know this Nazi?
No, I don't know this dirty Jew.
No, no.
Go home! Go home!
So Captain K's story ends protecting Jojo by ripping off the German Nazi jacket that Jojo had been wearing and pushing him away, calling him a Jew. Not just that, spitting on him and calling him a dirty Jew. Therefore, no friend of Nazis, so that the Allies would let him go. So there's a moment here. This is the first scene in the film we see Captain K without Freddie Finkel by his side. Or do we? When we come across Captain K taken prisoner by the Allies, we see something in his hands. As he is being dragged away to his death by execution by firing squad, we actually see it is Freddie Finkel's cape of pink triangles. So Captain K had just lived his first and last day as himself. So when we think about what defines us, what is our identity, what flags we fly, what flag would you be willing to live and die under? Some of us have the privilege of not needing to think about this very much. Some of us have to plan for the danger of flying that flag. Some of us will only be able to fly that flag for a single day, living as ourselves, as an identity, as a definition, truly expressing ourselves. So what kind of flag do you want to fly? Would it be a nation's flag? Would it be a pin that you have? Would it be flying a rainbow flag? Or would you go out like Freddie motherfucking Finkel with a cape of pink triangles?